Welcome to the Winning Podcast. Without further ado, I have my brother Mark. Winning days, the 15th.
Winningest,
the
the
winning,
third.
the winningest of the winner, Jack.
Winalicious,
Winology,
winalicious,
Win Olympics.
Win Olympics is crazy.
What's up,
Yeah,
man? How you been?
chilling, brother.
It's,
Chilling, man.
it is good to see you.
Thank you.
It's been a while since you've been on the podcast too, right?
Yeah, over 2 years.
Yeah. What now? I know last time that you were working on a bunch of stuff. First and foremost, I want to say, for those of you that are watching the podcast right now, Mark, I'm going to share a quick story before we even get started. So I think the right people over the most people is very essential for starting a business.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, I was stressed the hell out right before I got my partnership with Grant Cardone. And I was at one of the events that I was comped for to go get this process. And in my spirit, I was so worried about getting that deal to advance with what we were doing for veterans. And this guy, right, Mark Winning Days, I had an opportunity to get in a space that I didn't have access to. And I want to publicly say thank you for putting me in that position, even though it was some crazy eyes going on
Yeah, it was.
in that space.
Yeah.
But walk. I want to start with walking through that process and why, from your own lens, how that transpired and why you put me in that position.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of times people gatekeep connections, information, networks, and opportunities, even when they can't add value to that opportunity. There was no value I could add to that. And I saw my brother who was, already in the process, but we needed to move the needle forward and get you in front of the decision maker of that process.
Yes.
Right? That could give it a green light and give it a go for real. And it didn't make sense for me to gatekeep that opportunity. I was there in a learning capacity, not in a I'm here to offer something to this individual capacity. I was there to absorb information. I didn't have any information to give at that moment. So it only made sense that you were in the position to capitalize off of that situation, for lack of a better term, right? And why not? Why wouldn't I? You're a person who's a stand-up individual. Like, I knew I wasn't bringing a bozo to the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a moron or anything. Like, well-established, already in motion, and it only made sense to be like, yo, come through. Like, why would I gatekeep that? That's corny.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, so essentially what was going on before Cardone Veterans was a thing, I was getting vetted. I was going through the vetting process. And I remember sitting in a room in the back and just thinking like, I'm here to help more veterans invest in real estate. And I need the platform so I can let people know that we're here.
Yeah.
So having that feeling, I know that feeling transcends with you and your business as well.
Yeah.
And you went through a rebranding process. Tell us about what made you do that.
Yeah, I just think, I was obsessed with this idea of putting my name in something, like, because, all right, I'm going to be transparent. So where I come from, my name isn't associated with much except negativity, meaning my last name. So if you look up certain individuals in my lineage, you'll find jail records and you'll find, negativity associated with it. So, and with the absence of a father figure, I didn't even understand what my name meant. You understand what I mean? So what I needed to do was, I felt like once I got comfortable with my name and proud of my name, because I understood that my name legacy starts with me and I'm the one who attributes value to it, not anyone who came before me. I wanted to put my name on stuff.
Right.
Right. So so my previous company that I dissolved, Phones for Days, I just thought it was a clever way of integrating what I do and just putting my name in there.
Right.
But it sounded to me a little cheapish, like gave
Gimmicky.
me like Family Dollar vibes. You feel what I'm saying? And I wanted a name that could transcend and not be pigeonholed and be in conversation and be a conversation starter. And have brandability, marketability, and potentially profitability, and later on saleability. You
Mhm.
talk about STUD, right? The
Yep.
acronym,
Yep.
right? So one of those, the T stands for transferability, very important.
Yes.
So I wanted that name, if I'm ever able by God's permission to build it where I want it to go, and there's a sale underway, some type of M&A, a merger and acquisition that takes place, or some type of liquidity event, I think Coffee Mobile would be way more easier to transfer to another individual or another entity that they can grab and run with, if they keep it at all. A lot of times they'll just absorb the brand into what they have going on. I just thought it would be easier, and it would be way more marketable. So that's why I made the change. Coffee is my favorite drink. Apple was supposedly Steve Jobs' favorite fruit, which is how that name came about.
Mhm.
So that's why I named it like that.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So how long have you been doing it, and what problem do you solve for people that are in this technology business?
Yeah. So I've been doing it on and off for about 13, 14, probably going on 15 years by now. Got started by just selling my own personal device on something, I'm going to date myself here, called Craigslist.
Oh,
That's completely defunct, and well, not defunct, but it's obsolete in today's marketplace transaction world that we live in. It's really not a thing anymore. So I've been doing it a long time, and that's how I kind of got into it. And the problems that I solve through my business is for two type of, well, one of them is individuals, the other is a company.
right.
So I solve problems for individuals and entities who may want to either trade in, upgrade, or recycle their technology. So that's what my company is for. So
Okay.
if you have your office here, you got 20 Macs that you want to upgrade, don't know what to do with the old ones, Apple's undervaluing your trade in, well, you come to me, give you a better deal, give you a better price. Or if you got 30 old computers just sitting there, you don't know what to do with them, we'll recycle them for free. So you don't usually have to pay recycling companies to take your electronics off your hands. I actually pay people.
Well, that's something that we have right now. We have how many MacBooks that we got to get rid of? We got 4 MacBook Airs that we want to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So we might be doing some negotiation,
Come
Jack,
on,
before you
Jack.
leave. You know
Come
what I'm
on,
saying?
Jack. Let's do it,
Apple's
man.
like, yeah, we're gonna give you 38 cents for these
Yeah,
computers.
that's how they do, man. And they'll take them, refurb them, and sell them for $380.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If at all. You know what I mean? So that's really the problem I solve. And for individuals, it's the same thing. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've paid someone's rent or paid their light bill for them from helping them liquidate that particular device
Technology.
to my company.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So it's, if you have a drawer full of old stuff you need to just declutter, or if you're really in a need to sell, we make sure we provide a hassle-free process and a fair price.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone with a company like that before.
Mm.
So and who are your biggest competitors right now?
I mean, the main competitors are the mobile cell phone carriers with their trade-in. I wish people understood this. Can I take a second to break this down
Come
for
on, I need
people?
you
All
to
right, so
break it all the way
check
down.
this out, right? They tell you if you trade in your phone, it could be cracked, damaged, broken. It doesn't matter what it is, and we'll give you a free one. Okay?
Right.
There's a problem with that system. You're going on a 36-month finance plan, which means you need to keep that plan for at least 36 months. You're paying 50, 60, 70 bucks a month for 36 months.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder they don't care about what kind of phone you bring in, right?
Yep.
Because they're going to get the money from the plan. Furthermore, if at any time you need to migrate away from that carrier during those 36 months, the full balance that's owed on that device plus your final bill will come due immediately. It's like a balloon payment in real estate.
Right.
We are going to balloon you right now. We want everything. What is it called? When they call the loan due?
Oh yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
that's
about. Yeah.
exactly what it is. So you're going to be paying that full amount. So people get hooked into this, and it sounds great up front because you may not have to come up with a deposit, or you're just responsible for your state taxes for that particular device, but you're locked into this thing and married to this carrier for 3 years minimum.
Mm.
I don't know about you, but I like to upgrade my phones often.
Right.
Right? 3 years from now, I'm not going to have the same device. That's a problem. So now when you go to trade your device in, you'll likely have a portion that you're financially responsible for
Did they add on to the new one?
that they want up front. They won't add it on like negative equity in a car. No. What they're going to do is they're going to require you to pay that device up to at least 50%. And then they're going to tell you to give this 50% paid off device in order for you to upgrade to the new one, and then you start all over again with 36 months. Smoke your boots, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna be with them for 13 years, man. You're gonna
Yeah.
be 13 years a slave playing with these people. I'm telling you.
That's crazy because now that I'm thinking about it, because I was wondering, I try to go to AT&T and get my phones, pay the phones off, and they wouldn't allow me to do that.
Really?
No. So they were like, look, you got to get the phones. We can't allow you to pay it up front. You have to pay monthly.
So the best thing to do in a scenario like that, and I'm probably pumping up my competitor here, no Diddy.
Go directly.
Yeah, just go to Apple and buy them, because you'll get them unlocked through the box from, out the box. They'll be carrier ready. You can, no SIM restrictions. You can take them to any carrier you want. And it would just be better to do it that way. Don't try to buy it full. And a lot of times carriers tack a premium on to their devices. If you ever notice, they might be 50 to 100, maybe even a little bit more than if you went to Apple. They might be $9.99 at Apple and $10.99 through Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. So you got to pay attention to that. It's real tricky sometimes. So yeah, don't ever try to just buy your devices outright from your carrier. I would if you know you're not leaving them, take advantage of the offer. And if you know you don't need a new phone every year or two, just be cool with the 36 months. But it's tricky the way they have it set up. And those are my biggest competitors for that reason, because they offer something that looks tantalizing and everyone falls for it.
And look, we got some people on. What's up, Otis? Hey, you got to pull up, man. I got my brother Otis James. I see Brian Scoggins. Hey, I'm gonna have an answer for you. Shout out to my brother Brian. Let me tell y'all a quick story about him. I've been looking at going back to school, and this guy goes to the school I was looking to go to, and all of a sudden he popped up right around the time that I was procrastinating on going back to school, right? So I wanted to give a shout out to you, and it says, "Oh my goodness gracious, if I can't believe this. This is so fantastic. I appreciate your respect. Verizon, I am not going to use their service anymore. Literally just paid." We got you. And this is the whole purpose, the reason why we do these podcasts live, man, is because stuff like this, I think, is essential.
Yeah.
So now, what was the hardest part about rebranding from Phones for Days to Coffee Mobile? Was there any type of administrative stuff or anything that you had to do? And since you rebranded, has it elevated your revenue and business?
Yeah, definitely elevated my revenue and business. Simply just the logo change alone changed a lot. Just the name alone, like people, because they get it confused with an actual mobile coffee delivery service, it opens up conversation. And that's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm totally cool with that, because it's a conversation starter. And when I tell people what I really do and what's the kind of the knowledge behind the name, they're like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I got somebody who has like 10 phones, or I might have 30 phones in my drawer. So, and then business happens that way. But the hardest part about it was the perceived brand equity that I thought I built in my old name.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because I had it for years and I went around operating under that name for so long, and I put so much sweat equity behind trying to get that name out that I thought I had built brand equity in that name. But I quickly realized as soon as I switched it, it wasn't all that I thought it was.
And that's exactly what happened with me. We had a competitor, a person, Sit Rep podcast.
Yeah.
And we changed it to the Winning Podcast specifically for that.
Yeah.
We haven't lost any momentum, because what was happening is that
you'll gain some. I love the name change, by the way.
Thank you. So just by that rebrand, we've been able to elevate, because we were getting shadow banned from the other podcasts.
Were they reporting y'all?
That had nothing. I don't know what they were doing, but it was just hard for us to grow. But we're monetized, so we appreciate you guys for pulling up to the space. Now, you just moved from the East Coast, to the West Coast. Welcome, Jack.
Hey, man, I'm in the building, man.
Okay, so I gotta let you know. You gotta let me know all of the cool spots to eat at, where you're located at now. What was the biggest challenge with uprooting your family, and why did you do that?
Dog, it was a headache and a half, but it was of course, money is the main thing for everything. Money makes things difficult. The absence of finances makes things difficult. the presence of finances makes things easy and smooth because you can get anything done with money. No matter what it is you want, that bag will get it done. But the most difficult part was, I was out in Vegas on business and I was doing some contract work and running around promoting my own thing. And I was there for about a week. I had went to Phoenix, Arizona. This was only a couple months ago, mind you. I only been in Vegas for 2 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild work. It's crazy work. So, I was running around. We got hit by 2 hurricanes in Florida back to back. There was Hurricane Helene and then Hurricane Milton came like a week later. Now, Helene came, she did what she was going to do and peeled off and Crip walked off into the sunset somewhere. I don't know what Helene was up to. And then Milton came behind and the state went into a literal state of emergency. They were like, look, if you stay, you're going to die. This is what they said on national news, at least regional news, but on national news, this is what they were telling us. If you're in Florida, we're not coming to get you. If you're in an impact zone, you're finito. Get out by this time because we're not coming to get you. And where I was living, they were about to invent a new category of hurricane. The highest level is Cat 5. They were saying this thing was so strong, they were going to have to invent a Category 6 when it made landfall in my area.
Wow.
So my wife called me distraught. I came back to Vegas, and I was chilling, doing my work in Vegas, cotched up at the hotel, maintaining. And my wife calls me frantic. We're getting another hurricane. They basically saying we all going to die. Well, I'm not going to leave my family, right? And we were already planning to migrate from the East Coast to the West Coast. But it wasn't supposed to happen for many months later. So I had to dig in that pocket and get my family on an emergency flight. My wife, 3 kids, get them on a flight. So you can only imagine how much that costs.
Yes.
Right? And I'm talking about same day. I'm not talking about this was 72 hours later. I mean, she called me noon. Y'all need to be at the airport at 9:00 that night. Pack up, get out. So they get all the way over here. And, it didn't make sense to spend that bread to send everyone plus myself back. And we were already planning to leave.
Right.
So, I lightweight prayed about it and just asked God, like, if this is supposed to be, can you just help me figure this situation out? Because I have less than a week to find somewhere suitable, safe, and comfortable for my family to go in a city in which I've done my research, but I'm not really that familiar with it.
Right.
And, by the grace of God, in less than a week, I found a crib and did what I needed to do to get us in there. And then I just flew back and cleared the house out. And then you got to pay movers to transport your stuff cross country because I was not about to do it. Had to ship 2 cars cross country and more.
Right.
So, it got real and it was just like a last minute situation. So, but I feel like overall it was the best thing to do opportunity wise and morale for my family.
Right.
Because Florida, listen, no disrespect to anyone in Florida, but certain parts of Florida are not popping like people think.
Yeah.
If it's not Miami, if you're not in the design district or, if you're not in West Palm by Mar-a-Lago or something, it's not popping like that. The majority of the population is struggling. Don't let these people fool you because they came from a palm tree, bro. That ain't that. So, Florida the opportunity was not right. And where I was at was like an old boys club, tiny town mentality in a humongous city. And it was weird because to transact business was like abundantly difficult. These people were gatekeeping everything. It was strange.
Right.
And I've been there a number of years already. So I made the decision, all right, this is not for us. We're from the Northeast. I'm already not living there. So to me, I don't care about picking up and going anywhere because I'm already not home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was cool. I had no problem. And my wife, when she said she loved it, that was the main determining factor. When she was here with me and we went around, I showed her everything I could. And when she said, I love it here, that's when I was like, okay, I need to make it happen. The pressure was on. When she said she liked it, I had to make it happen.
That's fantastic. Now, all right.
Now it's a lot, bro. It's a lot, man.
Let's get into the hard stuff, guys.
It's a lot.
All right, we're gonna get into the hard stuff now. Tell me the absolute truth
Hmm.
of a person looking to become an entrepreneur.
Oh man.
Give me some nuggets. Let's ping pong some nuggets real quick and go back and forth, because a lot of people think there's pros and cons of doing this, man. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that I know for sure. I'm gonna start with this one to kind of guide the conversation. You know, either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. And if you don't know if you want to do it, you're not cut to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
All right, I'm telling you that there's no, there's no magic formula for getting into the business and just rocking out. Tell the people what they have to, going back, Mark days,
Yeah.
13 years ago, when you said, this is the journey that I'm going to go into versus the W-2 employee status. What advice would you give yourself starting today?
Just be honest with yourself. If this is really what you really want to do,
Yes.
I would advise 99% of people don't take this path. You're not built for it, dog. I'm going to just keep it real with you. You're not
Yeah.
built for it. Dog. Look, this is my camera. You're not built for it, dog. Don't do it. I'm telling you. This is not what you think. It's not. You think you're going to have more control over your time.
Mhm.
You have less time. You think you're going to be putting your feet up in doggone Tulum somewhere. I'm going to be in the Maldives naked. No, you're not. You're going to be home in front of your computer until your eyes bleed, typing up emails. You're going to be prospecting, cold calling, running around, getting shot down, being told no.
Yep.
People hating on you, being judged. People not wanting to do everyday business with you because you're an entrepreneur. You can make more money than the dude that's up the street and they don't want to rent you a house. They don't want to help you close on your mortgage loan because you're self-employed. Now, there are ways around that which you can better disclose to people, but I believe in not paying taxes. So what I'm going to show, I'm not going to show what this guy's going to show.
Yeah.
I got to hide mine, man.
Yes.
I got to use it to take care of my family. Mark Days doesn't have a dime. Okay? Coffee Mobile is cool, but Mark Days has nothing.
Yeah.
You understand? So there's so much to it, man. Being an entrepreneur is not all it's cracked up to be. It's a sexy thing now because everybody likes to talk about it because of the influencers and the internet and all these guys out there. You need a 6-pack and 9 shoulder blade muscles and then you can be a millionaire. Yo, shut up, bro. Stop this foolishness, man. It's the cap for me. That's what makes it, man. And the problem is too, bro, there are too many opinions about entrepreneurship out there. There's too many people trying to influence about entrepreneurship and not actually doing it.
Yes.
Since you met me, I haven't had a job.
That's correct.
Right? I've been doing my own thing. I have a family. There's 5 of us in my house. And I have to feed, clothe, pay bills, utilities, and everything else. 2 car notes off of my strength that I go outside and pull out the mud. Mm-hmm. That is not easy to do. And most people, unless you're highly educated, you won't even get a 9-to-5 that could support my family unless you have the highest level of education. It's not easy. Please stay in your lane and stop trying to be what you see on Instagram. And if you're going to do it, understand what you're walking into, and you have to do it wholeheartedly and be 10 toes down. If you're wishy-washy or unstable in any way, you will not only fail, you will devastate your family financially and in many other ways. Please stay in your lane. This is not for everybody. Trust me.
And I'm glad that you said that because, when I look back, entrepreneurship doesn't care that you have bills to pay. Entrepreneurship doesn't care that you got in a argument with your spouse.
At all.
Entrepreneurship doesn't care that you got a mortgage to pay. Entrepreneurship only cares about what you're willing to do to make it. And the craziest part about the whole thing is that I remember, many nights where people were going out and doing stuff, and I was working intimately on who and where I wanted the company to go. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose friends, sleep, people that you thought had your back, people that said, I'll tell you what, right now, this is what I'm going to ask you guys to do. Post that you're starting a small business.
See how many likes you get on
See how
that.
many likes or support you get. But
Mm-hmm.
post something about Kanye West and see how many responses that you got. People are, the people that you thought that would support you or have your back when you're doing something difficult, they won't be around. But then, I've seen my friends, people that I thought that were my friends, give me all the excuses in the world of why they wouldn't support me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's normal, man. Like, and I'm glad you spoke on the loneliness aspect. This is the loneliest job in the world. People are gonna come around only after you make it.
Yeah.
And then they gonna pretend, man, I always believed in you, dog. I knew you was going, I knew you had it covered, dog. Like, I knew you was that dude, dog.
Yeah.
Can I get a job? Can I get $1,000?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to really fortify your mind and your spirit to understand, like, and not take it personal, but still don't forget. So when they come around with the sob stories and you got 36 new cousins that you never knew existed, you can set your boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm ruthless, dog. I have no problem telling somebody no. And you only got a few seconds to get out my face after I tell you no. That's how I am, because nobody was around for me. I don't remember nobody doing nothing.
Yeah.
I remember being homeless, sleeping in cars, sleeping on floors, sleeping in music studios, sleeping on couches. I remember not eating for 3 days at a time. I remember smoking cigarettes to curb my appetite, putting out half the Lucy from the corner store and saving it. I buy a Newport 100 and then bang the rest out and then smoke the rest later because I know I'm going to be hungry again. That's what I remember. The story I don't even tell people, that's what I remember. I don't remember none of these people like, hey, man, we getting money over here. Come with us. I don't remember any of that. I remember being outside in the cold and waiting for the sun to come up and just sitting in the park overnight thinking. You understand what I'm telling you? So I don't want to hear nothing from nobody, man. You can't tell me nothing, man.
And that's the part that I think that's the part where most people don't communicate about is the hardships, right? For me, I would rather have, one person thoroughly immersed and supporting my business than 100 people that are lukewarm in their support with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult. I think the hardest part when growing any type of business is finding people who are there for the purpose and not the profit.
Yeah. But that's the thing too, man. A lot of times, bro, we get things twisted with people. Nobody cares about our purpose but us.
Yeah.
You care about your purpose. I care about mine. And even the people around us who might be loyal, they're loyal to you. They're not loyal to your purpose.
Right.
They're loyal to you because they have a connection to, or they got love for you. People are money motivated, man. You want to build loyalty, let people live. Let them eat. If you're a leader and your team is starving, you are trash.
Yes, that's a fact.
You're a fraud. I don't care if you have 100 million, a jet, 55 Rolls Royces. If your team has no path to leveling up, you're not a leader. You're not a business owner. You a hassa, a pig that can't fly straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think the part that I definitely agree with is that the best decision that I made in entrepreneurship was looking for people and appreciating people who helped me build. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the part where a lot of people miss out on is that when you have people in the business, you can offer them any amount of money, but it should get to a point to where you're starting to offer more than just revenue.
Yeah, some type of ownership or stake or something.
Yeah, some type of stake or something like that. And if you got people that's rocking out with you and they've been with you for a long time, sit down and ask them this question. Where do you see yourself within this company, and why are you still here?
Yeah. What are your personal, professional, and financial goals?
Yep.
That's what people need to be asking. Who in their right mind, without feeling a sense of resentment, would be able to sit on the sideline and watch somebody eat in their face while they're starving for years at a time?
Yep.
This dude got a brand new mansion. He done found somebody, put 30,000 on her body. And she's a brand new person walking around.
BBL
Come on,
Drizzy.
man. Smelly BBLs and god dang silicone face fillers. God dang, and all they kids in the highest level of private school, they got 55 Rolls Royces, 10 helicopters, and 6 jets.
Mm-hmm.
And your highest earning employee is not earning enough to squeak by.
Yeah.
And they have no path in your company to improve that. Man, that's a problem, man.
Yeah.
You will get silent quitters. These people will actively destroy your company from within.
I agree with that. And these are things, guys, that we're talking about that I think people they overlook. Creating a business is more than just creating a corporation and going out and getting on TikTok and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think the reason why most companies fail is, for one, a lack of a target. Number two, you're not helping anyone. You got to be able to solve a problem. A lot of people are thinking that, oh, I just want to start a business. And then three is people. People are very, very important to your company. How can I bring someone within the company and how can they grow with me?
Right.
And typically your goals and their goals don't align. And I think that's when I first started in business, that's one of the things that I overlooked. I was looking at, okay, this is a vision. We're going to go help 1 million veterans, And the other day I sat down with a young man, okay? He's here, and he told me that I want to be a real estate investor next year, 2025. I want to be a real estate investor. And guess what? I'm going to be a part of that journey with him.
Wow. That's powerful.
So when you hear stories like that, it's not about the money. It's about making change within people. And that people care about you when they do things, even as the owner. I don't ever get anything. But when people do things for me as the owner of the company, I feel like I'm doing something right because I always am cognizant about how can I make sure that the people that are with me feel appreciated. And I think the best way to do that is to help them get to where you're at.
Yeah. They all have goals that they would like to achieve. And until you uncover those goals and have honest conversations, not getting personal or being inappropriate, it's just what is it that you're looking to achieve? Okay, you want to be a real estate investor. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Right? You want to make more money. All right. How can I invest in this person to give them a skill set and a mindset and a set of habits that can get them closer to their goal?
Mm-hmm.
People are not thinking about this. There are company owners out there who literally only care about themselves.
Profit.
That's it. Like,
profit.
They only care about the money they made today. They don't care that their sales team is starving. They don't care that they don't have the proper product line or proper funnel or proper pathway to put their customers in to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a one and done. And that's what one thing I love about Unc so much is that he has salespeople making $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
He got salespeople making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Because he designed this company in a way to where people can come in, and if they apply themselves and work hard, they can have a pathway to success, life-changing success. Now I moved out the trailer into the projects.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's really about company owners have to be more cognizant. And that's why I refuse to go big as far as hiring a bunch of employees until I have that process in place. I don't want people working for me who are not succeeding.
Yes.
That's wrong. It's selfish and it's wickedness, in my opinion.
And another thing that I want to talk to you guys about is reflecting outside of the company growth, right? One thing that I've learned with studying processes and when companies are getting developed is that if I have a person and my goal is here and this person goes here that's working within our organization, they're not gonna be in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So if you incentivize, look, if this company is growing, you grow with me, then there's no ceiling to what you can do. And I think, in entrepreneurship, you should be looking for the right people. Like I have went through at least in the past 10 years, at least I would probably say 300 people.
Wow.
Right?
It's a
And
lot of
you know
turnover.
what? And you know what people always say? They always will point the finger at their lack of doing the work
Right.
at the person who owns the organization. It's never them,
Yeah.
right? And it's not always like that. Some people go different way. And it used to frustrate me before, but then I would rather have a person that's thoroughly immersed in the culture of the company, because a person could be in the company and be the best person to grow the company, but they're toxic, and that person can
Mm,
affect the
yeah.
organization as a
Yeah.
whole.
They'll spread like a
So
cancer.
no
Yeah.
matter how good you are, listen, this is another thing. No matter how good a person is, if they're not about the company and they're spreading negativity within the company, it can adversely affect the other people that are fruitful in the company. And then next thing you know, you have a bigger issue, which is culture, toxic culture,
Hmm.
right? So that's something that I have learned with growing a business. Now I want to get back to another question for you. Okay, where do you see Coffee Mobile at in the next 24 months to 5 years?
Yeah. 24 months from now, my goal is to be 8-figure revenue company. 5 years from now, my goal is to be a 9-figure plus revenue company and prepping for hopefully a 10-figure sale. That's my goal. I want to exit so I can go and do other things,
Like
right?
what? Give me an example.
Whether it be philanthropic efforts, whether it be, investing in my community, whether it be investing in real estate, building a portfolio so I can earn passive income,
Mm-hmm.
many different things. Donate to my church so we can open more branches of my church. You know, different things like, and you can only do that when you have financial means. Now, will I hit those numbers? I have no clue. I don't know, but that's the goal, because there's just no reason to operate in any level of scarcity, or a low level operation can't benefit anybody,
Right.
man. So my goal is to find out what systems, what processes, what SOPs, the stupid acronyms, the KPIs and all that nonsense
Yeah,
that
the
people overuse,
ABCs.
that they really don't even understand for real.
Yeah.
That people just say to sound cool because they know a lot of people at home don't know what it means. But figuring out what that looks like, what companies have in place that I don't,
Mm-hmm.
so I can begin to scale and scale quickly,
Right.
you know.
What now? So growing this company, what was the worst mistake that you made in entrepreneurship that you had to figure out on your own, and then how did you overcome that scenario?
Time in the market, on the market. My market changes weekly. Phone prices in a wholesale capacity, prices go down every Thursday. It changes.
Why?
Um, I mean, a lot of it is made up. Like to me, it's the same as a dude in the hood cuffing all the work so he can raise the price on the street,
Okay. Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
fake
Yeah.
drought. But people will use any excuse to get a better deal. There's typically actually no reason for it, but I don't have control over what the market demands and the wholesale aspect. Retail is different, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a much slower process. So I don't usually churn out retail. I'm more of a wholesale company.
Can you explain the difference between wholesale and retail?
Yes, wholesale is typically business to business. Someone will come to me to buy bulk in at a lesser price than they can find it retail, which is usually business to consumer. So I'm in a more business to business capacity. Although we do business to consumer, it's a much smaller part of the business because it's a turn and burn business. It's not a hold this device for 90 days until someone purchases it business. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have the brand recognition for that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yet.
So yet. So um, my business model is based on wholesale and sorry, can you repose the question again? I kind of got off.
Retail.
Yeah,
Retail and
retail
wholesale.
versus wholesale. So wholesale is just business to business or getting it at a business like price, what a business owner would buy it for, as opposed to retail. You're paying full price, what a consumer would pay in a storefront or a brand recognized online marketplace.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to explain this a little bit more
Yeah.
in depth. Okay, so let's just say that you went to Apple and you went and bought a phone,
Yes.
okay, you would buy that at a retail
That's
price.
retail.
Okay.
100%.
Now, if you were a wholesaler, that is that is Apple buying the product in bulk to sell to the consumer.
Yeah. So a wholesaler, well, Apple is a manufacturer,
Right.
so it's different than wholesaling. I don't manufacture the product. I
Right.
go collect the product, and I'm an intermediary that you buy the product from me in order to sell it to the consumer.
Right.
So I kind of stand in between the consumer and the manufacturer. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's the difference between wholesale. No different than real estate,
Right.
right? So a wholesaler will go lock up a deal under contract for less than an investor will buy it for.
And
The
then
end
find an
consumer
investor.
will pay full price. The investor will pay a lesser price, and the wholesaler will get it for even lower than that, so he or she can make a margin passing it along to the investor. So in my business, it would be I grab 100 phones here from an auction or whatever it may be. I'm going to sell these 100 phones to different, let's say, small repair shop owners
Right.
in my local vicinity, 10 to 10 different shops. They will then turn around and sell them
For a
at
profit.
retail to the customer. So I have to buy them low enough to have enough margin in it for it to make sense for other shop owners to purchase it from me. And that's hard in itself.
And what advice would you give someone looking to get into this genre of business besides telling them not to do it?
No, I mean, look, you can get into it. I mean, there are different levels to it. You don't have to try to build a company from it. It can just be a side hustle. You can make $100,000 a year without really breaking a sweat doing this as a side hustle. That's $300 a day profit. If you can't find 3 phones on Facebook Marketplace or at $100 profit, or 6 phones at a $50 profit, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But there are some things that you need to learn. You have to know what to look for. You have to know how to analyze it. You have to know how to grade it. There are many different facets to this business. It's not just run out there and bump your nugget and think you're going to be good. Like it took a lot of years of trial and error for me to get this science down where I could just look at something and be like, oh, this is an iPhone such and such and yada, yada, whoop-de-whoop. It took a long time. So if you want to get into it, I mean, I can teach you the business. I don't know what that would look like for somebody or if I even want to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of information and it takes a lot of time, but anyone can go out there and just, if you can figure out what to buy, what to sell something for, then by default, you can figure out what to buy it for.
Right.
Because
Right.
your money is made on the buy. It's never made on the sell.
Okay.
That's
Makes
for
sense.
everything.
Yes, that's for everything. Yep.
Right? So if you can lock up a property for $100,000 and you know it's worth 300, you got $200,000 in profit to play around with.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no difference there. So if you want to get into it, I mean, you could reach out to me at The Real Mark Days, and I'll be more than happy to teach you. It ain't going to be free. Or you can, I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Or you
It
can,
should
you
be
know,
free.
you can go to YouTube University and try to figure it out on your own. You can bump your head. You could lose a whole bunch of money before you master it. And 15 years will go by like it did for me.
Now, I have a couple of more questions. What advice would you give a person that is battling, trying to figure out whether or not they want to go down the W-2 route or the 1099 route? The honest opinion.
If you're struggling with whether leaving your job is a good idea or not, you probably should not leave your job.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say that is because people who are serious about being an entrepreneur, they're resolute and they have to have decision-making skills.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
they
have
have to,
you have
right?
to have the metal for it, for sure.
Yeah, you got to be able to think quick and make decisions and stick by those decisions.
Mhm.
If you feel that in any capacity, you're going to have some level of remorse or regret, it's not for you. Don't even consider it. I wouldn't even tell you to go 1099 because even for that, you have to have some type of business structure in place because at some point you're going to have a tax liability
Yes.
and you're going to get in trouble.
That's the biggest. I'm going to tell you guys the biggest Biggest thing that I had to figure out is making the revenue and not planning for taxes. As a new entrepreneur, that's one of the big two things: admin, not having my administrative stuff together, not having the people that I need within my business. And I'll tell you four fundamental pieces that you should have in your business, and then I'm gonna pass it to Mark because he's gonna say why. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Number one is a tax planner versus a tax preparer. Okay, a tax planner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number two is a marketer. All right, to scale the business. All right. The third one is a bookkeeper. All right, you need a bookkeeper, and the fourth one is an attorney. Why do you think that you need those people within the business, or have them on speed dial?
Yeah. I mean, they're all areas that you can get in trouble in, right? Marketing is necessary for the business. Marketing supersedes all other necessary components in business.
Yes.
Marketing is senior to sales.
Yes, it is.
You cannot.
That's a bar.
It's a fact, right? Because obscurity is the number one enemy you're fighting in business. I have a great product and service that I offer, but if no one knows that, why you think I'm here? Why you're helping me right now, right? Get my message out, get my name out,
Right.
Get my company out. You don't have to do these press runs and media runs and podcasts and all this stuff if it was just that easy. Marketing is senior to sales, number one. A tax strategist is different from a bookkeeper. A bookkeeper is going to keep your expenses and all that crap in line, but a tax strategist or a tax planner is going to have the task of looking for places to save you money.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And what was the final one you said? An attorney. Well, that's obvious. I mean, there are legal implications, potential litigation in any aspect of business and in life in general. Would you agree? You may have to do a trust. You may have like different, and you'll probably need more than one type of attorney.
Yes.
You probably have a real estate attorney and a trust attorney and a this and a that and a family attorney and yada, yada. And the list goes on. So those are absolutely four necessary components because those are four areas. Three of the four will get you in trouble.
Yep. And
one, if you don't learn, you're dead before you start.
And the reason why we wanted to talk to you guys about this stuff is just to be like real honest about why it's important to have these people within your business and why it's critical to have this stuff set up, because a lot of people will start a business without a plan. And if you don't start a business without a plan, you're going to have tax penalties. You're going to have to figure out marketing. You can deliver the best product on the planet. Okay, you can have the best product on the planet, but if nobody knows about it, how are they going to transact with you? And most people don't have systems in place for repetitive business. They'll get business, they'll make the money, and then you got to go out and hunt again. And that goes back to the big R word, just like my brother is sitting right here, and that's relationships, right? Stop selling the product A to B. How can I utilize this person to tell 10 people about the product that they received? And it all goes back to your customer service and why it's important to have systems in place to be able to capture that person and have that person want to do revenue with you. What do you think about that?
100%. Customer retention, information capture, systems and information management, having, what they call CRMs.
Yes.
And customer relationship management softwares. There's a million out there that anyone can choose from. That's one issue that I have, especially being what I know Uncle G hates this, but I'm a solopreneur, right? Like not having necessary systems because I do a lot of face-to-face transactions, or I do a lot of transactions through other online mediums and platforms. I have to capture the information of my clients, man, so I can continue to reach out to them and alert them when there's new opportunities to transact with me. Right. And that's something I'm been a whole lot better about in 2024 is even if it's just exchanging numbers with the next person who buys from me, you know what I mean? And being able to contact them from time to time. So that's an integral part of any business. And that's why information is so valuable. That's what cookies are for.
Yep.
When you're on a website, that's why they're tracking you. That's why they attribute a tracking ID to you on any site that you're on, because they want to see your habits. They want to see what you're doing as a consumer, and they want to capture your information so they can market to you.
Well, I was wondering why come I keep seeing ads about Oreo cookies and Scooby snacks coming up.
Man, god dang, man. You out here talking about them Scooby snacks, Jack. And they tracking you.
Now, I want to say this. Um, I appreciate you coming down, pulling up.
Of course.
I like spending time with you. Guys, listen to me. If you're going to, you got to get good people around you. I am going to, not because I have to, but because it is a must. We're going to have a conversation about how I can help you in your business because I wouldn't have some of the connections that I have now if it wasn't for you building that bridge. And I think, going back to the whole, to wrap this all up, if you guys learn anything from this podcast, okay, make sure that you're making good connections with good people that can help you build a business and not want anything in return. Mark never asked me for anything, right? He was like, oh man, I'm gonna come out there, I'm gonna stay. I'm like, bro, you like my brother, pull up. I gotta like pull this guy's arm, to pay for stuff and all types of other things. But I appreciate you pulling up. What's the best way to reach you and how can people reach out to Mark Days?
Yeah, man. At the real Mark Days on all platforms. At coffee with a K, coffee_mobile on all platforms. And if you want to transact business with my company, sell us devices, you can go to coffeemobile.com. That's the main ways right there.
Fantastic, guys. And you guys can reach me at TonyGlennII.com. We got a couple of things coming up, guys. We have a Facebook group called Win in Real Estate. If you guys are interested in getting in there, I have a free business plan template that's in there. And also we have a free VA loan masterclass coming up next month. The best place to find out where all of that stuff is going down is Win in Real Estate Facebook group or TonyGlennII.com. And if you guys want to download our free business plan template, or you want to get your 2025 lit to start your business, we're here to help you guys. And you can find us again at TonyGlennII.com or Win in Real Estate Facebook group. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.